Before we begin, a quick warning. Today's episode contains quite a lot of snakes. Not actual snakes, just a lot of talking about them. So Mum, if you're listening, this might be the one episode you want to skip. Everyone else, let's get started. Somewhere in the world, there's a person whose job is to deliberately annoy venomous snakes every single day. Which raises an interesting question. Who looks at a cobra and thought, I know, let's ask it a favour? Welcome back to This Is Someone's Job, the show about the strangest ways people make a living. If you've been here since the goldfish polisher, the queue stand-in, the professional mourner, the golf ball diver, the professional sleeper, and the destruction tester, welcome back. And if you're new here, you've picked a dangerous place to start. Because while most of us spend our working days avoiding snakes, someone else spends theirs trying to make one bite a glass. Before we get started, a quick shout out to everyone who's been sending me ideas for future episodes. This week's suggestion came from my daughter. Keep them coming. The stranger the job, the better. A professional snake milker doesn't actually milk snakes because, well, snakes don't have udders. Right, I'm glad we've cleared that one up. The job is to safely collect venom from poisonous snakes. Cobras, mambas, rattlesnakes, tapirs, vipers. The venom is collected so scientists can produce antivenom and develop medicines that save lives all over the world. Now, the process is surprisingly simple. A trained handler carefully encourages the snake to bite into a thin membrane stretched across the collection jar. Now, already that's giving me shivers. The venom is released, collected, frozen, studied, and eventually becomes part of life-saving treatments. Which means somewhere, there's a snake wondering why every Tuesday has become incredibly annoying. One of the world's largest venom programs is run by the Australian Reptile Park. It's home to more than 200 of Australia's most venomous snakes. Eastern browns, tiger snakes, death adders, coastal tapirs. Every couple of weeks, trained handlers carefully collect venom from these animals. That venom is then used to produce antivenom that's estimated to save around 300 lives per year. Which is one of the few jobs where a successful morning starts with, right, who's annoying the tapir today? A typical day starts by checking equipment, preparing collection containers, and carefully handling some of the world's deadliest animals. Every movement has to be calm, controlled, accurate, because mistakes are very memorable. And unlike most offices, you definitely don't want one of your colleagues having a bad day. Unlike our professional queue stand-in, who's essentially equipped with a camping chair and a flask, snake milkers need hooks, protective equipment, secure transport boxes, collection jars, and nerves made of absolute steel. Imagine meeting someone at a barbecue. So, what do you do? I milk snakes. Sorry, what? Professionally? I think that's the point where I'll quickly back away, while making absolutely no sudden movements. Perhaps the most incredible story comes from southern India. The Irula people have been tracking venomous snakes for generations. Their knowledge is so extraordinary that today they provide much of the venom used to produce antivenom across India. Their tracking skills are so respected, they've even travelled overseas to help conversational track invasive Burmese pythons in Florida, which means some of the world's most advanced medicine still depends on knowledge that has been passed from one generation to the next. As ridiculous as this job sounds, the work genuinely saves lives. Experts estimate that antivenom saves tens of thousands of people every year. Without it, many snake bites would be fatal, which means one snake's very bad day might become somebody else's second chance. Then there's Bill Haast, probably the most famous snake milker who has ever lived. During his career, he survived over 170 venomous snake bites, which, if I'm being honest, feels like enough evidence that maybe he should have changed careers. But instead, he kept going. He even injected himself with tiny amounts of venom for decades in an attempt to build his immunity. His blood later helped treat more than 20 snakebite victims when antivenom wasn't available, which has to be one of the strangest CV achievements I've ever heard. And somehow, despite working with some of the world's deadliest snakes and surviving over 170 venomous bites, Bill Haast lived to the age of 100. He always joked that maybe the venom had something to do with it. I'm not sure I'll recommend testing that theory though. Now, it's funny how these jobs change your perspective. Most of us see a venomous snake and think, run. A professional snake milker looks at exactly the same snake and thinks, that's Tuesday morning. Every strange job we talked about has one thing in common. Someone looked at a problem and decided to solve it. Goldfish needed polishing. Golf balls needed finding. Cricket pitches needed saving. And somewhere along the line, someone looked at one of the world's deadliest snakes and decided, let's ask it nicely for some venom. And that's the thing about strange jobs. They usually sound ridiculous until someone explains why they exist. Behind every bottle of antivenom, there's someone whose day started by standing face to face with one of the world's deadliest animals. And if you happen to have an unusual job yourself, or know someone whose career sounds completely made up, I'd genuinely love to hear about it. You can reach the show at thisissomeonesjob@gmail.com. And tomorrow, while most of us are trying to avoid difficult people at work, someone, somewhere, will be trying not to upset a king cobra. Thank you for listening to This Is Someone's Job.